Alright, what is up guys, it is Robert at Gaming With Me, and welcome to a video in 2025. Whoa! It is a brand new year, 2025. I mean, the last video I uploaded, Watch Dogs 2 Back in the Backlog, which you should watch, came out in 2025. But, as you can see by the title, we're talking about our top 5 most anticipated games for 2025. These are always fun to do. These are always weird to do because a lot of times these games have no release date, no release year, so it's always, especially January, right at the beginning, there's like no, I mean there's games, but there's not a lot of games listed for the whole calendar year. If you go on something like Wikipedia just to check out all the release dates, it goes like January, February, March, and then like drops off dramatically, and then there's like gaps in literal months of like no release dates. It's actually pretty crazy. And I like to look back at what I thought were my most anticipated games for the year because they're always so drastically different by the end. So these are always just kind of like what I know, but I will admit for this year specifically, there are some big names that I would be putting on my most anticipated list no matter what is really revealed. These are some of my most anticipated games for 2025, and a couple of them I might actually play in 2025. By that I mean I'm technically years behind. I'm playing games from 2022 and 2025, but there are definitely a few of these games that I might have to break my rule that I do. If you haven't seen my GWM awards for 2021, the top 10 greatest games of 2021, I would highly recommend checking it out. And also go back to my top 5 most anticipated games for 2021 and see and compare. It's actually very interesting. Literally, I don't think there was a single game on 2021 that ended up on my top 10 list of 2021. And some of them were so bad. Like I had Balan Wonderworld at number 5. It's one of the worst games I've ever played in my life. I had Kana. I didn't care too much for that game. I had Little Nightmares 2, which was really good, but just didn't make the top 10. And even my number 1 most anticipated game, Hogwarts Legacy, which got delayed, and it came out 2023, so it got delayed by 2 years. And then I had Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart on there, which I thought was a really great game, just didn't quite make the top 10. It'd probably be like top 15 to 20. So it was close up there, but it not quite. But again, 2025, to be honest, some of these games I would be surprised if they're not on my top 10 in 2025 by the time I play it in 2031. But let's see. Let me tell you what they are. My 5th most anticipated game for 2025 is Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. What a name, what a title. It's a weird spin-off. Well, I don't know, they're all kind of spin-offs at this point. But it's a weird Yakuza game or Like a Dragon game where you play as Majima, who I didn't play Infinite Wealth yet. I'm very excited to eventually play it, but you play as Majima, who is in Hawaii, and there's like he becomes a pirate or something like that, and you could sail the seas and explore treasures. They obviously reuse Hawaii from Infinite Wealth, and I don't know what the hell's going on in that, but look, if a Yakuza game, if a Like a Dragon game, if an RPG game, Ryuga Gotoku Studio is coming out, it's going to be on my top 5 most anticipated games list, just because so far, I mean, I've only played 2 to be fair, but I loved Yakuza Like a Dragon, and I loved Lost Judgment. So, yeah, no matter what they put out, they always look ridiculously fun, and I'm excited to play it. Like, this sounds bizarre as hell. You're a pirate, Yakuza, Majima. Why? I don't know, but that sounds awesome. My 4th most anticipated game for 2025 is Doom: The Dark Ages. I love Doom Eternal. I never played the ones before it. Oh, I played Doom 2016. I gotta play some of the originals one of these days. But Doom: The Dark Ages, I'm excited for it for the simple fact that it takes place in the Dark Ages. Like that setting, that time period, that sounds so cool and badass. Like Doom Eternal was fantastic, but I really like what they're doing with the setting, like of this. This propels it to my most anticipated game for sure. Where it's like Doom Eternal, like I said, it was one of my number 10 of 2020. I enjoyed it a ton. I loved it, and so it's like more of that, but with a weirder, more unique setting, which sounds super epic and badass. I can't wait to see what they do with it. Definitely excited to play it. Doom: The Dark Ages, absolutely first-person shooter perfection. My third most anticipated game of 2025 is Grand Theft Auto 6. This is a game that I'll be curious to see comes out in 2025. I'm admittedly aboard of the hype train for this one. You know, I've played essentially every single one at this point, but I have only finished 3 and San Andreas, both of which are back in the backlogs, which I recommend checking out. But yeah, I mean, I really enjoy fucking around in these games. So even if it's just like, I don't like, this just is such a momentous occasion in terms of gaming. You know, Grand Theft Auto 6 through 5. Jesus, I can't even speak today. Grand Theft Auto 5 came out in 2013. You know, this is gonna be 12 years later. I remember when I was 14 picking up Grand Theft Auto 5. That was an amazing day, and I have a bunch of, I played almost the whole game, but admittedly just fell off at like the last, I don't know, I mean it was probably the last 20% or so, but I love that game. I enjoyed the hell out of it. I just never finished it, and one day I will and go back to it, but I enjoy the hell out of it. Grand Theft Auto is just such a fun franchise to play, and to see what they could do with the crazy details that they put in Red Dead Redemption 2 and what they'll add on with these powerhouses of the Xbox Series X and PS5, you know, we'll see what they do. I will admit I would love to see a Bully 2 over a GTA 6, but at the same time, like, because I think it's just because there's so many other Grand Theft Autos I still gotta finish, like 4, 5, and Vice City. But in the end of the day, like, GTA 6, I know it's gonna be good as hell, and I'm excited to at least to check it out. And it's, yeah, I'm aboard the mainstream hype train where people are just counting down for it, looking forward to it. Yeah, I'm stuck in there, I ain't gonna lie. So it's kind of like, damn, I could probably put this game a little bit higher, but realistically, the way I think about Grand Theft Autos, how I play Grand Theft Autos, I would feel wrong putting it higher because, like I said, I've only finished 3 in San Andreas, which I thought were a lot of fun, but the other ones I just never saw to completion. So yeah, Grand Theft Auto 6, it's gonna be batshit crazy. Looking forward to it. Rockstar, I know it's going to be a great game. Like, I know it's going to be a great game. I have no doubt about it. But it's just how much will I personally care about it is yet to be seen. My second most anticipated game for 2025 is Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, we'll see if this comes out 2025. Same with GTA 6, I don't know if I said that. But, you know, these are 2 games specifically, GTA 6 and Metroid Prime 4, where are the only games on this list where it's like, they'll probably make it 2025, but you never know, they might slide into 2026 or something. Metroid Prime 4, I think, has a lot bigger of a chance to make it to 2025 because I personally believe it will be a launch title for Switch 2. Maybe it won't, but we'll have to see, I don't know. Regardless, I became a Metroid fan in the past 5 or 6 years at this point now. I played through Metroid Prime 1, 2, and 3 on this channel with back at the backlog. I highly recommend checking them out, and they were fantastic games. It's one of the best trilogies in gaming, maybe the best trilogy in gaming. It's fantastic. They're amazing first-person shooter adventure games that I absolutely loved to death. They were fantastic games, and I highly recommend anyone checking them out. Absolutely. You know, I'll be curious to see how I feel while not playing with the Wii remote, because that's how I played it, the Metroid Prime trilogy on the Wii. And so it'll be interesting to play Metroid Prime 4 without the Wii remote, but the footage that we saw looked incredible. A lot of people saying is that Switch 2 footage, but you know, in the end of the day, like, I believe that is Switch 1 footage, and I believe Retro Studios knows their thing because it looks to be one of the best looking Switch games. You know, it's up there visually with all the huge Nintendo titles like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom and Odyssey and stuff like that. So this looks incredible, and I don't know. I can't wait to see more. I'm assuming this is going to cross launch with the Switch 2. I really believe they'll end up doing on both the Switch and Switch 2. Maybe only be a Switch 1 title. I'll actually be slightly disappointed by that, but it'll be backwards compatible on Switch 2 anyway. But this feels like the game to kind of do a cross-gen to me. Like, it feels like the Breath of the Wild. I know it's not as big sales-wise, but like gaming industry-wise, like, to me, this is just as big as Breath of the Wild in that case, you know, with Metroid Prime 1, 2, and 3. So, I don't know. We'll see. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. I'm curious what the Beyond means. I have a feeling maybe it means just bigger scope planets. I don't know how you'll necessarily do that with the Metroid, like that gameplay style, so I'll be curious, but That's kind of what I'm thinking. I don't know, but maybe they just mean beyond as in beyond like the planets, like, you know, more alien-like planets, which I guess they're always alien-like planets. I don't know. We'll see. Let's see if that nails the 2025 release date. Depends on if the Switch 2, you know, truly comes out in 2025. I mean, I would be stunned if it doesn't, but I believe it'll be a launch title. If it's not a launch title, it's going to be super close by, but we'll see. And my most anticipated title for 2025 has a release date of March 6th, which is Split Fiction. If you know me, I love Hazlight Studios. I think if they knock it out of the park with this game, they're 3 for 3, and they're one of the goated studios in my opinion. I loved It Takes Two. I really enjoyed A Way Out, but I believe It Takes Two propelled. They like, I mean, huge knockout out of the park where I believe they just made a genuine masterpiece, and I loved It Takes Two. If you haven't seen my GWM 2021 awards, I recommend to hear more about It Takes Two. But I loved it, and I can't see why they'll do wrong with Split Fiction. I believe seeing this, I don't want to hype myself that much, but seems like another classic on our hands. I don't know, man. They just, dude, Joseph Fares and his team, they kill it, man. They absolutely kill it with these games, and they're gameplay focused in the way that they really understand how to make just super cool set pieces around gameplay. And Split Fiction looks like just like that way, where I don't know if you're gonna be. It looks like you're gonna be able to be in two different worlds at the same time. You're doing co-op, and it's some of the best co-op you could ever do, because literally they build each stage, each level, with 2 players in mind. It's not, oh, well, it's a 1-player game with co-op added. That's just never worked for me. It's genuinely, you cannot play this without 2 people, because the gameplay is integrated with 2 people. Like, you literally factually can't do it. Even if you had more buttons on the controller, you just can't do it. This one, like I said, comes out March 6th, so for sure this is one that I will be playing like that launch weekend. Absolutely. Like, I'm start playing with my stepdad. We're gonna boot up the PS5 or the Xbox. I don't know which I'm gonna get it on. It doesn't really matter. But regardless, excited as hell to play Split Fiction. It's gonna be incredible, and it'll be for sure one of the 2025 games that I'll be playing in 2025. That is my top 5 most anticipated games. If you notice, you know, in the end of the day, I don't want to mention games that don't have a 2025 release date, release schedule, or release window. In the end of the day, these all are coming out in 2025 as of right now. A lot of games get delayed. I only think that out of this list, the only ones that look like they will get delayed is Metroid Prime 4 and GTA 6. I think GTA 6 generally might go to 2026. Metroid Prime 4, I think, is pretty much locked for 2025. But GTA 6, I think, will slip. This list also could drastically change depending on what Nintendo announces. So the Switch 2 is coming out this year. You know, we don't know what they're going to launch with. If there's a new 3D Mario, that skyrockets to number 1. If there's a new Mario Kart, that skyrockets to number 1 or number 2. Like there's some big games that they will announce that will skyrocket my anticipation list. So stuff like a Dragon, you know, as it, you know, while I'll probably really enjoy it while I play it, not knowing too much about it, you know, it would get bumped off. Same with something like Doom. And it just depends. Like, in the end of the day, like, what I love about seeing the before and after for anticipation list is that they're always so drastically different, because there's so many games that get announced throughout the year that launch that same year, and there's so many indie titles that you just never heard of until you play it that year. Like, that's why it's like these most anticipated lists don't mean they'll be my top 5 games of the year. Although, again, I would be very surprised if a few of these aren't on my top 10 at least. I would be actually disappointed for some of them, right? But we'll see. But yeah, every year looks to be just a great year in gaming. You know, it's funny. I'll be very quick with this, but you know, last year I always hear, oh, this is more of a down year in gaming. You know, it's a down year in gaming. I'm like, maybe it's a down year if you play 3 games. Like, to me, it's like, at the end of the day, like, there's so many fucking good games. If you appreciate, if you love games, like, in terms of different genres and stuff, if you want a piece of the shooter, if you want a piece of the puzzle, you want a piece of the visual novel, you want a piece of the action genre, the platformer, the third-person shooter, like, there's the life simulation, like, there's so many genres out there that if you love dipping your toes in a bunch of them, there's no such thing as a bad year in gaming. There's literally no such thing, because there's always good to great to fantastic games that come out every year. And so to me, it's like when people are like, oh, especially like last year, oh, well, it's just a down year in gaming. I remember 2021. It was a down year in gaming. 2021. I don't know. Expand your horizons. Because to me, it's like there's no such thing as a bad year in gaming. There are so many fantastic games that come out every year, and it just depends on your taste, of course. But like, if you're like me and you like to dip your toes in so many different genres, every year is just jam fucking packed with games, because there's always so many incredible experiences, from the smallest single developers to the biggest 500 people teams, so, or thousands of people teams nowadays. But yeah, so I'm 2025. This list is going to be completely different when I get to it in 2031. But yeah, yeah. Let me know your top 5 most anticipated games of 2025, and list. Try to put that lock on. Only name games that will be coming out in 2025. Don't be saying, oh, well, whatever Nintendo releases for the Switch 2, we don't fucking know what they're going to release for the Switch 2. So that don't exist. But I mean, hey, if you just don't have 5, like, it's funny because I'm like, oh, well, it's probably going to be I'm not going to have as many, but I wrote down like 30 something, like I think 28, 20 or 30 games that look pretty good. And it's like, damn, that's for games that are just the big AAA games, you could say, with some smaller indie titles I know the names of, but there's so many that when I get to that year and I start researching the year, I'm like, holy shit, that looks good, what the fuck, where did all these games come from? And yeah, alright, that is my most anticipated list for 2025. See you guys next time. 2025, baby. That is crazy. Yeah. I guess we'll see what the hell comes out. Looking forward to that Switch 2. I mean, that's obviously my most anticipated thing in gaming. I'm very excited to see what the hell's going to happen with that. But yeah, see you guys next time. Peace out. Gonna knock the walls down, make it into be our room. I can do this shit cause man, this shit feels like a city. Population only 1 with some visited titties. Many women come and go, I just lost count. Google says my net worth 10 mil, but that's a low amount. Took a flight to Kyoto to meet Miyamoto. Homie gave me the new 3D Mario. Treated like a local, every place that I go, making records with my idol.